Welcome back to another video. In this video, we are going to study DatePicker in SwiftUI. So let's start by creating a new file and name it as DatePicker Playground. So DatePicker is a control which we can use to allow user to select calendar date and time. Let's begin with a VStack. Now if I type DatePicker, you can notice we have different initializer with which we can create DatePicker. We can provide our title and a binding for the selection, or we can just directly provide the binding, and then we can use any view for the label. So let's start with the basic version where we have to provide our title and binding. And for the binding, we have to create a state in here. And this state is of type date, and for the title, maybe you can use anything, but let's just say select date. Now we can provide our binding, and just like that we have a very simple date picker. And you can use a panning on VStack so that we have a horizontal space. And yeah, now you can tap on your date and you can select any date, and similarly you can tap on time and select any time you like. Yeah, and if you want, you can actually uh, use display components to further specify whether you only want to show date, time, or a combination of both of them. So for this, let's move our parameters to a separate line, and now we can use display components. And now if I type dot, you can notice we have different options. So if I only use hour and minute, then user can only select time. So, and if I want, we can only use date to allow user to select date and not time. So yeah, and if you want, if like this is not I think very required, or this is used somewhere, because this is actually the combination of both of them, and we do not need to use it like this because by default it displays both date and time. But still, if you want, you can use an array and use it like this. And you can also change the style for your date picker. So if I type dot date picker style and I further press start, you can notice we have different options. So we can use a wheel, and this is how this wheel style looks like. And we can also use maybe a whole calendar. So this depends on the UI requirements. And yeah, and the compact is the default version where it simply displays two buttons. Yeah, so this is how this date picker works in SwiftUI. And if you want to use range, you can also use range with the date picker. Like if you do not want the user to select future dates, so you can use in keyword. This is for the range, and then you can enter dot dot and just the ending date. And now user cannot select the future dates. And similarly, you can use a date. This is actually what I can say. This is an operator. This is for the range, and this is the ending value, and you can specify the start value. So if you want to maybe start a year earlier, like maybe you want the user to select dates from 2020 or 2021 till today, so you can use a range like this. And if you want, you can also construct your custom range. So we can use our own date range in here. It has to be of type close range, and close range further needs a type of date. Now we can use and for this we have to use a foundation package. So let's first import the foundation package because we are going to use calendar in here, and then we can obtain our calendar instance. Yeah, and now we can construct the start date from date components, and we can use or provide the year value, maybe like 2020, and month maybe 2, and day maybe 1, and yeah, we can use maybe 2022 for the end. And then we can use calendar dot date from, and we can actually use our return keyword because we are going to return a range from here. So from start, and then we have to use the forced unwrapping because this can produce null, and if you have a check you can use check in here to make sure if this is not null, and if it's null you can return maybe your default range or something, but for the simplicity I will just use forced unwrapping. And then when we can use calendar.date from the end and use forced wrapping, and now we have a range from start date to the end date. And similarly you can actually use time in here as well, like you can provide the hours, so maybe hour 5 or something. I'm not going to use it, but you can experiment the hours or time in this. So now we have our date range, so let's comment out this one, and then we can use our date range. And now you can notice we have this maximum date that we can select is the 1st of February for 2022, and then we can go back and select the date from 2021. So this is it for DatePicker. And yeah, there is one more thing. If you want to customize this title, you can use this second initializer for DatePicker, where it actually accepts binding first. So we have to use this state, and then for the label we can press enter, and then you can use anything that conforms to a view. And remember we had previously studied this label, so I'm going to use a label in here that actually accept a title and image. So for the title we can say maybe select your birthday or something like this, depends on your requirement. And for the image I'm going to use a system image of calendar. So yeah, now you can see we have this image and both title combination here. So this is just really your own requirements how you want to design it, but that's all for this. So DatePicker is a control that allows user to select a date and time. You can customize the style for DatePicker. You can display a whole calendar or a wheel or anything. That's your requirement, and we can customize the title for our DatePicker, and we can provide a range to DatePicker. And yeah, so that's it for this video. If you have anything in your mind, let me know in the comment, and I will see you in the next video.